A very good morning to lecturer and all my fellow friends. We are Group 1 or Group 3A for tutorial class Monday 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And our group members is me, Chong Li Xin, Samputra, Citra, Mohamad, Hanif, Mohamad, Zain, and Zhang Fanghao. Now, we will going to start our presentation 1 for country, and the country we choose is Germany. Firstly, this is the map of Germany in world map. By looking at the map, we will know where is the location of Germany in world map. On the left-hand side is the map of Germany in regional map, and on the right-hand side is the single map of Germany. I will start my part for question 1. What is the geographical and historical background of the country, Germany? Geographical background of Germany. Officially, the legal name of Germany is Federal Republic of Germany. By looking at the map, we know that Germany is a Central European nation. In fact, Germany also the second most populous country in Europe and most populous member state of EU. In the comparison of size among the European country, Germany is the 7th largest by its size. Now refer to the map on the right hand side. We can see that Germany is located in Western and Central Europe and bordering the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Germany is also bordered by 9 nations, which are Denmark, Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Netherlands. The geographical area of Germany is covering 357,022 km². Germany, with the largest population among European countries, is around 82 million. In other words, it is 230 people per km². This slide is about geographical fact of Germany. The capital for Germany is Berlin, and Berlin is also the largest city of Germany. And Frankfurt is the financial center and commercial hub of Germany. By looking at the map at the middle, we can see that Germany is divided into 16 states and further divided into 401 administrative districts. For both 294 rural districts and 107 urban districts. For the climate of Germany is temperate and stable. Extremely high temperature in summer, rarely prolonged frost in the winter. It is ideal for raising crops and agriculture, especially with the well-distributed amount of rainfall. Next, make it short for landscape. Germany is a country with a wide variety of landscape. There's the tall mountain of the south, rolling plains of the north, the forested hills of the urbanized waves, and the plain of agriculture east. Now I will going to introduce the geographical landform for Germany. Firstly, Germany is drained by dozens of rivers, and the longest river of Germany is the Rhine, with overall length run of 1,319 km. And this river is carrying much of Europe cargo from the sea for Germany. And for the commercial and traffic purpose, Germany with a series of man-made canals join navigable rivers to create a interconnecting inland waterways. And Germany is a country almost half of the land surface, up to 52%, is contributed for agriculture. The agriculture in Germany is supporting a bit of population for its country. The lowland plain of northeast Germany is the major agricultural region for Germany. Germany also with a lot of mountains, Alps, and other ranges, with the landscape of Germany's central region. The highest peak of Germany is Zeus Peak in the Bavarian Alps. For your information, any of the ski resort in the Alps is an attractive point of tourists by providing the world's best skiing experience and spectacular view in the winter for Germany. To proceed with geographical landform and tourism of Germany, and I think that this part will be more interesting. Germany with island and lakes, and the largest island of Germany, which is Lügen, is forested and rather hilly with steep cliffs and sandy beaches. This is a beautiful island with diversity of landscape. Do you know that there are more than 25,000 of castles located all across this country rich in history? The most popular castle is Neuschwanstein Castle in the Bavaria Alps. This Neuschwanstein Castle also is the inspiration for Walt Disney themed castle. The largest lake with German shoreline is Lake Constance. Tourism and travel is popular for the lakeside German town to enjoy the picturesque view when summertime. And last is the Black Forest, is the largest wooded area of Germany, which is located in the southwest near the Swiss border. Black Forest is a mountainous region full of pine and fir trees. This Black Forest also a tourist attraction point for nature retreat. This is the second component of my part, historical background of Germany. Let me tell you a story about Germany. Long 10,000 years ago, there's this human settled in the northern area of Europe. 5,000 years ago, the first people speak a language similar to German live in Germany. The area of Germany was inhabited by this Germanic-speaking tribe for many centuries. So they are first become part of the Frankish Empire ruled by a person called Charlemagne. He is also the father of the German monarchy. Charlemagne was a medieval emperor ruled much of Western Europe at early year. From year 1700 to 1918, the Kingdom of Prussia was established in Germany. Early year, Germany just a patchwork of small states ruled by duke and king. In 1997, a politician called Otto von Bismarck was united Germany through force and alliance. In 1914, World War I was happened and monarchy collapsed due to Germany began competing with each other European country to colonize Africa and Asia. However, Germany was lose the war to Britain, France, and United States. In 1933, Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party came to take over the power with promise to bring revolution of Germany. So, Adolf Hitler was started the World War II for invading Poland, but defeated, and he was committing suicide. After World War II, Cold War is happened, which result in division of Germany into two parts, which is West and East. These two places become the center of standoff between Soviet Union and Western power for longer than 44 years. A war, called Berlin Wall, was built between these two parts of Germany. For your information, East Germany was a communist state under the control of Soviet Union, and the West Germany is a free market state. In 1989, with the collapse of the Soviet Union and communism, East Germany finally opened its border and ended the Cold War with peaceful revolution, and the Berlin Wall was torn down. In 3rd of October 1990, reunite of East and West Germany into one country. In 1991, Berlin was known as capital for Germany. In 2002, the Europe has selected as the official currency to replace Deutschmark. In 2005, the first woman chancellor in Germany was elected and known as Angela Merkel. A long story until today, Germany is becoming a wealthy country with a high standard of living and beauty of nature.
Germany economy in the modern era. Germany ascends to becoming a global economic power known as the German economic miracle, has its origins at the end of the World War II, when much of the country was ruined. Germany has a mixed economy. It allows a free market economy in consumer goods and business service, but the government imposed regulations even in those areas to protect its citizens. Germany has a common economy in defense since everyone receives the benefits while those in the highest incomes pay more in tax. The governments provide healthcare, insurance and education. That means you pay into the system according to your incomes and receive benefits according to your need. Germany and European Union membership. Germany benefits from its membership in the EU and its adoption of the euro. Like many other Eurozone members, the power of euro means interest rates stay low, which has spurred investment. In fact, many say Germany profits the most from its membership. Its strong manufacturing base means it has plenty to export to other members of Eurozone and does so more cheaply. That gives German companies a competitive advantage that only improves over time. That creates prosperity, giving German consumers more money to spend locally. As a result, the domestic market recently became a more significant driver of the economic growth. How Germany struggled with employment. In 2017, employment was 3.8%, that better than 7.7% rate during recessions. Germany struggled with a high employment for historical and cultural reasons. First, Germany law made it difficult to lay off workers and lower wages. Second, the unification of East and West Germans after the fall of the Berlin Wall heightened employment. The economy had to absorb workers from the former communist bloc. Third, the culture supports saving for a rainy day rather than spending that will boost the economy. Unemployment would have been worse in Germany were it not for reforms launched between 1998 through 2005. The government subsidized businesses to reduce working hours that keep people employed during recessions, although only part-time. Germany economy is successes and challenges. Germany economy is expected to produce $4.2 trillion in 2020 as measured by nominal gross domestic product. The nation is the world's fourth largest economy, following the United States, China, and Japan. In 2019, Germany's GDP growth rate was 2.4%, better than it has been in the previous years. Germany's GDP per capita was 26,700 in 2019, is better than the 2018 average of 24,900. Before the financial crisis in 2008, Germany's growth was less than 1% per year for the three reasons. First, modernization of Eastern Germany cost $70 billion per year. By 2008, spending has dropped to $12 billion. Second, high employment rate 9.5% and engaged population 20%. That means Japan depletes its social security funds faster than it can be added into it via payroll taxes. Germany managed to get its budget deficit below 3% of GDP as mandated by the EU. It lowered the fiscal budget, and the country advocates this method to solve the Greek debt crisis. Germany market overview. The German economy is the fifth largest in the world and accounts for 1/5 of the European Union GDP. Germany is the United States' largest Europe trading partner and the sixth largest market for US exports. Germany is the largest consumer market in the European Union with a population of 82.4 million. The significance of the German marketplace goes well beyond its borders. An enormous volume trade of Germans is conducted at some of the world's largest trade events. The value of trade, number of consumers, and Germany's geographic locations at the center of European Union make it a cornerstone around which many U.S. firms seek to build their European and worldwide expansion strategies. Germany has an average annual employment rate of 3.4% in 2019, the second lowest rate in the European Union, while Germany's national youth employment rate was at 6.2% in 2019, the lowest in the EU. Germany market challenges. German policy put relatively few formal barriers to U.S. trade or investment apart from barriers associated with EU law and regulation. Germany has pressed the EU Commission to reduce regulatory burdens and promote innovations to increase the EU's member state competitiveness. Germany's acceptance of the EU Common Agriculture Policy and Germany's restrictions on the biotech agriculture product pose obstacles for the key US product. While not overtly discriminatory, government regulations by virtue of its complexity may offer a degree of protection to establish local suppliers. Zealous applications of safety and environmental standards can comply access to the market for import products. Germany market opportunities. The German market is the largest in the EU, continues to be attractive in numerous sectors, and remains an important element of any comprehensive export strategy to Europe. Worldwide investors must reckon with relatively higher costs of doing business in Germany. They can count on high level of productivities and highly skilled labor force, quality engineering, good infrastructures, and a location in the center of Europe. Germany market strategy. The most successful market entrants are those that offer innovative products featuring high quality and modern styling. Germans are responsive to innovative high-tech US products such as computer software, electronic components, high-care, and medical devices. Germany proposes an above-average internet penetration rate within the EU for private households. High-speed internet access for business is only average, such as multimedia, high-tech, and service areas offer great potential. The German market is decentralized and diverse, which interests and tastes different from one German region to another. Successful market strategy take into account regions' differences as a part of a strong national market presence. For investors, Germany's relatively high marginal tax rate and complicated tax law may constitute an obstacle, although deductions, allowance, and write-off that help to move effective tax rate to international competitive level. Germany as a trading power. Germans has long known how to take advantage of the benefit of globalizations. Today, export of goods and services account for around half of the country's value added. 1 in 4 jobs depend on export. In industries, this is true for even more than every other job. As a manufacturing nation, Germany also heavily depends on inexpensive and high-quality import. According to WTO data, around 20% of value added in German export in goods was directly attributable to foreign supplier in 2015. Germany has ranked high on the list of top trading nations, placing third in 2018. Export of goods and services taken together, only China and the United States sold more globally, so Germany could not maintain its position as a competitive exporter without Germany's industry being deeply integrated in a reliable and international value chain. Trade agreements, free trade and strong role. Consumer duties and a large number of so-called non-tariff trade barriers continue to place several burdens on global trade. Consumers pay the price in the form of higher prices and the availability of the better product and services. However, free trade does not mean that trade takes place without rule. Quite opposite, it means that country commits to certain rules in a trade agreement, such as the non-discrimination principle. They also often sign up to rule on government procurements, competitions, trade-related investment matters, and trade facilitations. Modern trade agreements also feature strong sustainability chapters on labor and environmental standards. EU member states have signed multitude of investment treaties. EU and Germany grant protections to foreign investors against political risks such as discriminations and expropriations.
Good morning, Doctor and friends. I'm Kevin Samputra Citra. Today, I'm going to explain about the strengths or weaknesses of the country in international business and trade. And in our context, it's about Germany. I'd like to start by defining what is international business. According to Michael Zinkota, international business consists of transactions that are devised and carried out across national borders to satisfy the objectives of the individuals, companies, and organizations. These transactions take on various forms which are often interrelated. According to Roger Bennett, international business involves commercial activities that cross national frontiers. In other words, it involves not only the international movement of goods and services, but also of capital, personnel, technology, and intellectual property like patents, trademarks, know-how, and copyrights. There are three natures of international business. First, export and import of goods. We'll discuss export and import of goods under international trade in the next slide. Second, it's about licensing and franchising. Licensing is a contractual agreement in which one firm, the licensor, grants access to its patents, copyrights, trademarks, or technology to another firm in a foreign country, the licensee, for a fee called royalty. It is under the licensing system that Pepsi and Coca-Cola are produced and sold all over the world. Franchising is also similar to licensing, but it's a term used in connection with the provision of services such as McDonald's operates fast food restaurants all over the world through its franchising system. The third nature is foreign investments. There are two types of foreign investments, namely foreign direct investment, FDI, and portfolio investment. FDI is an investment in properties such as plant and machinery in foreign countries with a view to undertaking production and marketing of goods and services in those countries. On the other hand, portfolio investments are investments in shares or debentures of foreign companies with a view to earn income by way of dividends or interest. Next, let's talk about what is international trade. International trade refers to the exchange of products and services from one country to another. International trade consists of goods and services moving in two directions, flowing into a country from abroad and flowing out of a country and sold overseas. Most economists agree that international trade helps boost nations' wealth. Now, let's look at the imports and exports graph for Germany. The graph on the left-hand side is Germany monthly exports between July 2019 and July 2020. We can see the exports value in July 2019 was 114 billion euros, whereas the export value in July 2020 was 102 billion euros. Germany experienced the highest amount of exports in October 2019 at 119 billion euros and experienced the lowest amount of exports in April 2020 at 75.6 billion euros, most probably due to the global pandemic that affects almost every country. One positive thing to note is the recovery of Germany's exports shown by the upward trend. On the right-hand side is the monthly imports between July 2019 and July 2020 for Germany. The import value in July 2019 was 94.2 billion euros and the import value in July 2020 was 83.1 billion euros. The highest import values was in October 2019 at 98.8 billion euros and the lowest values was in April 2020 at 72.7 billion euros, most probably due to coronavirus. There are two visualizations here. The left visualizations is Germany imports in 2018. The most recent imports of Germany are led by cars $68.7 billion, vehicle parts $44.1 billion, crude petroleum $32.4 billion, packaged medicaments $27.6 billion, and refined petroleum $24.4 billion. In terms of percentage, out of 100%, cars import are 5.73%, vehicle parts import are 3.68%, crude petroleum import are 2.7%, packaged medicaments import are 2.3%, and refined petroleum import are 2.03%. The visualization on the right is Germany's import partners. The most common import partners for Germany are Netherlands, $111 billion or equals to 9.27% out of 100%. China $96.9 billion or equals to 8.08%. France $78.5 billion or equals to 6.54%. Belgium Luxembourg $77.4 billion or equals to 6.45%. And Poland $70.7 billion or equals to 5.9%. Similarly, there are two visualizations for exports. The left visualization is Germany exports in 2018. The most recent exports of Germany are led by cars $156 billion, vehicle parts $68.1 billion, packaged medicaments $55.9 billion, planes, helicopters and spacecraft $30.9 billion, and blood, anti-sera, vaccines, toxins and cultures $29.7 billion. In terms of percentage, out of 100%, cars export are 10.3%, vehicle parts export are 4.53%, packaged medicaments export are 3.71%, planes, helicopters and spacecraft export are 2.06%, and blood, anti-sera, vaccines, toxins and cultures export are 1.98%. The visualization on the right is Germany's export partners. The most common export partners for Germany are the United States, $132 billion or equals to 8.77% out of 100%. France, $121 billion or equals to 8.01%. China, $109 billion or equals to 7.27%. Netherlands, $93.6 billion or equals to 6.22%. And United Kingdom, $93.4 billion or equals to 6.21%. Next, let's talk about Germany's strengths in international business and trade, or you can call it IBT. Germany's first strength in IBT is its high export quota. Together with China and the US, Germany is one of the largest exporting nations. In 2018, Germany exported goods worth around 1.26 trillion euros. The export quota was almost 40% and over 50% in industry. The second strength is Germany's open economy. Judging by the importance of foreign trade for gross domestic product, GDP, Germany is the most open economy among the G7 countries, namely Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, and the United States. The foreign trade quota is currently 84.4%. That's the sum of imports and exports in relation to GDP. In comparison, the US quota is 26.7%. The third strength is the important role of industry. In Germany, the share of industry in gross value added is 22.9%, making it the highest among the G7 countries. The strongest sectors are vehicle construction, electrical industry, engineering, and chemical industry. The fourth strength is its high-performing medium-sized enterprise. Medium-sized enterprises form the heart of the German economy. In other words, companies with an annual turnover of less than 50 million euros and less than 500 employees. This sector of the economy embraces 99.6% of German companies. More than 1,000 of these companies are so-called hidden champions. In other words, publicly less well-known international market leaders. The fifth strength is its strategic location. Germany is the world's premier location for organizing international trade fairs. 2/3 of the major global industrial events take place in Germany. 10 million visitors attend around 150 international trade fairs and exhibitions each year. 6. Germany has strong economic centers. The most important economic centers in Germany are the metropolitan regions of Munich, focusing on high-tech products, Stuttgart, focusing on vehicle construction, Rhein-Neckar, focusing on chemicals and IT, Frankfurt, the financial hub, and Hamburg, focusing on port, aircraft, construction, and media. Berlin and Brandenburg is the strongest startup region. Last but not least, Germany has good employment rate. Germany is approaching full employment. In June 2018, the number of unemployed people totaled 2.2 million. This is the lowest level since reunification. The largest German employers are Volkswagen, 642,000 worldwide, Deutsche Post, 519,000, Robert Bosch, 402,000, Schwarzgruppe, 400,000, and Siemens, 372,000. Despite the strength that Germany has in IBT, it also has some weaknesses such as high labor costs and prominence in a particular industry. Having such a well-developed economy does have a few downsides. Most notably, labor costs are incredibly high in Germany. Even unskilled laborers such as retail attendants command hefty hourly rates. With a minimum wage of around 1,500 euros per month, Germany's earning expectations are on par with other highly developed European nations such as the United Kingdom, Netherlands, and France. These high labor costs can present a significant problem for smaller companies and startups, and might be thwarting the growth of new businesses. In addition, the prominence in a particular industry would be a weakness. For example, during COVID-19, the export of automotive and mechanical products are highly affected as people in other countries demand less due to lower disposable income.
Last but not least, let's answer the question, how has Germany coped with COVID-19? According to the statistics we collected from Johns Hopkins University, by 7th of November 2020, there have been more than 600,000 confirmed cases and more than 10,000 deaths accumulated in Germany. And the bad news is, as the winter is around the corner, the second wave of the epidemic is coming. Yesterday on Friday, more than 20,000 of confirmed cases were found within one day. However, compared to its neighbor countries like France, United Kingdom, and Spain, Germany has done much better with achievement of fighting the virus. We could see the picture. Since the pandemic was officially announced by World Health Organization, the number of confirmed cases in Germany has still kept lowest compared to other countries in Europe and North America. It is due to 4 significant points I concluded: good leadership, robust health system, mental health support, and economic stimulus measures. And I'm going to explain each of them. Good leadership plays one of the most significant roles to fight the virus. Each of its 16 federal states implemented their one set of lockdown rules, which varied in severity. This policy could ensure each state adjust their policies with flexibility according to their own condition and reduce some unnecessary cost. Besides, local state governments banned public gatherings and closed schools, workplaces, and non-essential shops. The public gatherings are strictly prohibited by the government. Once a person was found violating the rules, he or she would be penalized or even be jailed and sentenced. Apart from those, clear and rational measures from the government are also very crucial. This could lessen the phobia from the virus and increase awareness of public health. Without any doubt, the transparent and immediate information system was successfully used during this public health crisis. The next part is robust health system, which is based on the SOP, Standard Operation Process, for Germany to confront the health crisis. The first segment is prevent. The local health authority have produced data and analysis to inform Germany's government's response. The scientists mobilized in early January to launch national crisis management to understand the danger of the pandemic. The second segment is detect. Once the first confirmed cases were found in Berlin's hospital, the government worked out to mobilize the country's public and private laboratories to rapidly scale up testing capacity. Later, Germany became a pioneer in PCR testing. The third segment is contain. Germany's greatest success in this area has been relatively limited transmission in long-term care facilities. Because older people are more likely than younger people to die from the virus, the country is at higher risk because of its older population. The comparable low rate of infection among Germany's population over age of 70 is probably one driver of its relatively low case death rate overall. The last part is treatment. With a large number of hospital beds and careful planning, Germany's ICU have not been overly overwhelming. The third part is mental health support. As I mentioned in the previous slides, after the outbreaks of the virus, Germany government imposed lots of lockdown rules in the whole country. People are not allowed to leave the home at most of time, and patients have to stay in the ward with limited space. So the mental health services are confronted with fundamental challenges since the epidemic of COVID-19. Due to these issues, the local authorities provide mental health support to the citizens. Many Germans were encouraged to do exercise outdoors. They are allowed to walk their pets, to purchase some necessary stuff, and even allowed to walk in the garden. But the process is that they must wear their face mask and keep the safe distance from others in order to avoid infections of the virus. Besides, there was also a concerted effort to encourage Germans to stay in contact via Skype or Zoom, so people would not feel lonely or isolated. Some non-government organizations also took the social responsibilities. They opened the psychological consulting line, giving the citizens opportunities to express their bad feelings and have a good mind after the communication with the psychological consultant. The mental health support could auxiliarily treat the infected patients and alleviate public stress. Last part is economic stimulus measures, and there are 4 perspectives I'm going to demonstrate in this part. The first perspective is duty relief. The free donations to institutions responsible for the medical care of the COVID-19 risk groups, for example, hospitals and old people's homes, are exempted from imposed duties. which is intended to efficiently handle the shortage of medicine and medical equipment and decrease the cost of both countries and patients. For the sake of lower employment ratio, the local government also provides the aid to small and medium-sized enterprises. Total volume of $25 billion were extended from June to August this year. Social Security contributions are compulsory payments paid to general government that confer entitlement to receive a future social benefit. Because of these special moments, employers are to receive full refunds of Social Security contributions until next year in June. And for the merchants almost suffering bankruptcy, tax deferrals can be granted free of interest charge and under the relieved procedure until 31st March next year, and the individual tax enforcement is suspended until further notice. Above all, let's make a conclusion of how Germany coped with COVID-19 since the outbreaks of the virus. Germany has a universal multi-payer healthcare system paid for by a combination of public and private health insurance. According to the Europe Health Consumer Index, Germany has long had the most restriction-free and consumer-oriented healthcare system in Europe. The country built up one of the most powerful medical systems in the world, with gathering of the high quality of the scientists in the country. It is why the local authority could take quick action to respond to the virus, and their contributions and attentions to long-term care facilities helped lots of underprivileged people escape from these big disasters. After the outbreaks of the COVID-19 in Germany, the local department mobilized most of laboratories to make PCR testing across the country. They also provide the mental health to the public and release latest news transparently and immediately by means of TV, radio, and other social applications via internet. Meanwhile, how to recover economics and increase the awareness of public health are both paramount for government. My part of group presentation is concluded. Thank you.